Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. There is a great deal of global attention on Iraq's economic reforms, yet much of the most consequential decision-making is taking place quietly, out of the public eye and far from media headlines. Behind closed doors, the United States, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank are deeply involved in shaping the pace, direction, and ultimate timing of Iraq's transition toward a more flexible, market-oriented exchange rate regime for the Iraqi dinar. This process is not simply a domestic Iraqi affair, as many might think. It is a multi-layered and collaborative international effort that touches on geopolitics, monetary policy, regional stability, and the restructuring of a post-conflict economy striving to join the global financial mainstream. They were preparing Iraq for a future in which the Iraqi dinar could float, or at least be managed within a band against other currencies in a transparent, rules-based manner. The float of a national currency is a major step for any country, but in Iraq's case, it is particularly delicate. It requires the simultaneous achievement of several preconditions: macroeconomic stability, sufficient foreign reserves, political backing, institutional reform, and most importantly, international confidence. Floating the dinar prematurely, before these elements are in place, could trigger hyperinflation, capital flight, or a collapse in public trust. Doing it too late could mean Iraq misses an opportunity to fully integrate with global markets and access the benefits of currency sovereignty. This is why the timing of such a move is not up to Iraq alone. While the CBI is formally an independent institution, its decisions on matters as serious as revaluing or floating the national currency are closely coordinated with stakeholders far beyond Baghdad. The United States, as the country holding much of Iraq's foreign reserves and as the principal architect of the post-2003 Iraqi financial system, plays a central role in giving the green light for any currency transition. But it does not act alone. The IMF, which provides Iraq with technical assistance and macroeconomic policy frameworks, must ensure that Iraq's fiscal and monetary foundations can support such a transition. And the World Bank, often tasked with infrastructure investment, public sector reform, and economic resilience projects, plays a supporting role in preparing the broader economic environment. But that does not mean progress is not being made. In fact, many of the most important indicators suggest that Iraq is moving steadily, if quietly, toward a currency transition. For one, the country has been accumulating foreign reserves at a healthy pace, aided by high oil prices and improved budget execution. The CBI's gold reserves have also increased, serving as a diversification hedge and confidence booster. Inflation has been kept under control, and the fiscal deficit has narrowed thanks to both revenue increases and spending discipline. These are all prerequisites for an eventual float. Among the key conditions likely being discussed are the liberalization of capital controls, enhanced coordination between fiscal and monetary authorities, and the development of domestic debt markets. Iraq cannot float its currency effectively if capital flows are distorted or if the government continues to monetize deficits. It also cannot sustain an open currency regime without credible central bank independence and a transparent mechanism for setting interest rates. These issues are complex and require time, but the direction of travel is clear. Furthermore, the regional context is becoming increasingly supportive of Iraq's economic normalization. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Turkey, and Iran are all engaging Iraq economically, and investment flows are beginning to pick up in energy, infrastructure, and logistics. China has also deepened its economic footprint in Iraq. While these relationships can be geopolitically complicated, they create an environment in which Iraq has options and bargaining power. They also increase the incentive for Iraq to develop a stable, convertible currency that can facilitate cross-border trade and investment. The U.S. role in all this cannot be overstated. While the Biden administration has continued to support Iraq's economic stabilization, the tools it uses are often indirect. Rather than imposing new sanctions or providing overt aid, the U.S. leveraged its influence through institutions like the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, where much of Iraq's oil revenue is held in dollar accounts. It also shapes the behavior of global banks, many of which look to U.S. regulators for compliance guidance. In effect, the U.S. holds the keys to Iraq's full financial reintegration, and it is using that leverage to push for deep reforms before allowing the final transition to occur. This is where the idea of shadow sanctions comes into play. Iraq is not formally blacklisted from the global financial system, but it remains under close scrutiny. U.S. Treasury audits of dollar transfers, restrictions on certain bank accounts, and limitations on correspondent banking all serve as informal tools of influence. These restrictions are not meant to punish Iraq per se, but rather to prevent misuse of funds and to ensure that reforms are implemented before Iraq is fully trusted again in global financial circles. This dynamic creates frustration within Iraq but also ensures that reform momentum is maintained. Ultimately, the float of the Iraqi dinar will not be a spontaneous or domestically decided event. It will be the result of years of behind-the-scenes work involving technical planning, political negotiation, and international coordination. The United States, the IMF, and the World Bank are not just passive observers. They are active participants in shaping the future of Iraq's monetary sovereignty. The path ahead is not without risk, but the process is far more advanced than it appears on the surface. When the time comes, and it will likely come with little advance notice, the float of the dinar will mark not just a monetary shift but a geopolitical milestone. It will signal Iraq's emergence from decades of economic supervision, conflict-driven constraints, and dependency. It will also reflect a broader realignment in which Iraq, once a symbol of instability, becomes a case study in gradual, internationally supported economic normalization. The world may only see the headlines after the fact, but those who have followed the clues know that this transformation has been in motion for a long time, and it has always depended on what was happening behind closed doors. Thanks for tuning in to Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.